पता नहीं इनका क्या इंट्रोडक्शन, तो मेरे लिए तो एक फैन बॉय मोमेंट है वैसे भी. एक और है हमारे साथ. We have Antra in the house. She is a TEDx speaker, number one. That's the latest one in her kitty that she has.
Namaste everyone, my name is Antara Sarkar and I am the creator of Sunday Class. So Sunday Class is a free STEM school for underprivileged children. Children who do not have the rights and opportunities that most of us here have been born into. So how and why did I start Sunday Class? Well, to know about that, we have to go back about 20 years when I was a teenager and I started volunteering for the first time, teaching children of laborers and of domestic health workers. So as a student of BITS Pilani, I used to have the privilege of getting long summer holidays in college. And on one such summer holiday, I decided to volunteer in a village in Rajasthan for 2 months. There, I was put in charge of running a summer camp for the children in that village and from neighboring villages as well. So, the children were teenagers and I was only 19 or 20 years old myself. But very quickly I realized that, the summer camp that I was conducting, I wanted the education I was giving these children to be practical and hands-on, to be activity-based, that it would want to make them get up every morning on a holiday and show up to my classroom. So that's what I did. I worked very, very hard for those 2 months, and every day I used to try and come up with new ideas for these kids. And of course, those 2 months ended, and I went back to college, and the children stayed in their villages. After that, for the next 10 years, I kept volunteering. So sometimes I was teaching children, sometimes I was teaching uneducated adults. I was helping out doctors, running medical camps in different villages, organizing blood camps, food donation drives. I kept doing that for the next 10 years. Till 2016, when I got the opportunity to volunteer at a government school for 1 hour a week. So I said, yes, I would love to do that, go and teach English for an hour a week. And then I stepped into that volunteering school. And that, for me, was one of the things that has shocked me the most in my life. At almost 0 degree temperatures, the children were sitting on the floor on completely torn up old durries. And as temperature rose to 47, 48 degrees, there were no taps in the school. There was just one broken water pump that barely worked. There were no functional toilets, nothing. So that was the condition, and so along with other volunteers, I started raising funds to furnish that school. But in that time, I also noticed that by the time these children were reaching class 4 and 5, and this was a primary school, they were dropping out. They were no longer showing up. And I was wondering why. And very quickly, I came to the realization that the children were being forced to, forcefully pulled out of school so that they could work as laborers, as street vendors, as domestic helps, as nannies. And that for me was absolutely unacceptable. We are located 30, 40 kilometers away from the capital of my country, India. And this is the state of her children. And I was not okay with that. So I didn't really know what to do. And so I thought, well, let me go and visit their homes and talk to their parents. When you and I think of home, we think of safety and comfort. But here, those homes are basically these one room which is completely dilapidated. There is no electricity, no running water. Often the toilets are shared commonly between the community. And those rooms are often filled by drunk men, drunk fathers, drunk uncles, drunk brothers. But I kept showing up. I kept going there over and over again, morning and evening, weekdays and weekends, before work, after work, I was there, month after month. And eventually, I got every single dropout child back into school. And then that journey also made me realize something. And that was that, by the time these kids leave class 5 again from this primary school, this could happen again. It could all go back to square one. And I didn't want that. So that's when it hit me that I was not here to run a 100-meter sprint. I was here to run a marathon for these children. And that's the idea where Sunday Class was born. So when I told the children I'm going to run Sunday Class, of course we had no place to do it in this community. Because like I told you, all the houses were broken. So we found one family, one house, which was fully constructed and had a basement. So we, as in just me and my husband, Dr. Anurup Mitra, the two of us went and asked that family, and they said yes. They said yes, you can use our basement for Sunday class. And that is where Sunday class was born 7 years back, and that is where we still run Sunday class. So Onurup and I knew one thing, that we wanted to deliver education in a way which had not been delivered to us. We had always learned through textbooks. We wanted education to be practical, to be useful, to be applicable in the real world. And so what we did is say, when we're teaching biology, we got these paper microscopes from Stanford University, and we gave them to the kids and said, go out in the park, pick up whatever you want, and go look through the microscopes. I gave them t-shirts and said, you are fashion designers today. Do whatever you want on those t-shirts. If we were teaching about electricity, we gave them kits and said, you have to make those circuits so that your bulbs glow up. So we kept doing that. So in Sunday class, 1 week our kids are journalists, the other week they're travel agents, sometimes they're making robots, and sometimes they're learning computer programming. So we keep doing these every Sunday, something new, something different. But as we spend time with the children, we also realized that we needed to talk about topics that nobody talks about in India. One such topic is periods, a word that, forget the boys, even the girls would not utter in our basement. And so we had this long session on periods, and Onurup and I told them about everything related to periods. I handed out sanitary napkins in the class and to the boys and the girls and said, see, this is not a bomb. You can hold it in your hands. Similarly, about child sexual abuse, nobody had told the kids that they're never at fault. So what we did when we spoke about these openly, started telling us about the abuse they had faced, and they had not told anybody about it, including their parents. And after that also, whenever they were in such a situation, they immediately reached out to me, because Onurup and I are now their bodyguards. So along with this, we also spoke about the LGBTQ plus community and rights, that we use the words gay and hijra as insults. But do you know what it means to be gay? Do you know what it means to be transgender? So we had these conversations. And now when you come to Sunday class, I can guarantee you that these are topics that are so normal, that so, like the way it should be in the world. But unfortunately, it's not. So nobody bats an eyelid if you're talking about periods or about gay rights in Sunday class. And so all of this, of course, was happening in the basement. But outside of that, we, remember the kids were studying in these dilapidated schools. We eventually started moving the kids into better schools, into well-established English medium CBSE schools. So that's where most of our girls now study, in these good schools. And so, this has been the journey for us. And I have to say here that personally for me, the Sunday classes, we are not an organization, we are not an NGO. It's just me and my husband doing this. We've been doing this for almost a decade now. So we've never made a buck from it. We have never earned a salary, never a stipend, never any bonuses. We just do this as family. These children are, our kids. They're family to us. And so we've been taking care of them for a decade. But what I have not, earned in terms of money, I have earned in, I never thought I would be standing here in front of the Commonwealth Games stadiums and giving a speech. I never thought I would be speaking at TEDx. I am the winner of the I Volunteer Hero Award. These are experiences that the universe has blessed me with. And I am very, very grateful for that. But I will have to say that my journey of social work has been almost 20 years long. And when you're doing something like that for 20 years, there are many days that you feel frustrated, you feel sad, you feel like you've really not made an impact. As a change maker, you feel that you've made no changes, that whatever effort you've put in, there is no value, no respect for it from the very people that you've tried to support. So this kept, these are days that I feel that, and I go to bed feeling disheartened, but I wake up in the morning, and sometimes I remind myself, and sometimes Onurup reminds me that today, Aman, who is in the audience, goes and buys sanitary napkins for the women in his family, because we have made periods such a normal thing in Sunday class. Ria, whose mother did not allow her to come to Sunday class because she said Ria has to be at home on Sundays, and so that she can, nanny her siblings. We had this huge fight with her mother. Eventually, Ria started coming. Her mother's mindset also changed. And Ria today studies in one of the best schools in Greater Noida and is now preparing for her college entrance exams. She's here. We have a boy called Saurabh who is in class 12, and he told me, all the boys my age in my community, in my school, they smoke, they drink, they gamble, they do drugs, and I don't do any of that. It's only because of you, it's only because of Sunday class. So these are changes, that have happened. The kids come and stay with us in our own home. So even tonight, these kids will be going back and staying the next few days with us, and so that they are, freed from the burden of household chores that they face in their own homes. So they come and stay with us, sometimes for weeks, sometimes for days. And remember that village I was talking to you about, where I was volunteering about 18 years back? Well, those kids who are now adults managed to track me down in the last 5 years through social media. And so there was this girl called Nidhi, and she was the only girl in my summer camp because nobody in the village wanted to send their daughters for an education. So she told me 15 years after the camp, where I thought the kids would have, of course, forgotten me. It was just 2 months of a summer. She said that you inspired me, you motivated me and showed me that education is the way forward. This was a young girl growing up in a village in Rajasthan. Today, she's a mother, and she's also an instructor of physics. So there's another boy, Naresh, who told me that, that summer camp, meeting you made me realize that there are limitless possibilities in the world, that even though I'm in a village, I can do anything. Today, Naresh works in the Ministry of Defense right here in Delhi. So yes, change makers. Sometimes we feel like, we really aren't doing much, or we are doing a lot, but it's not making an impact. But change is not linear. Change is not quick. Change is not for those who want instant gratification. Change takes patience. Change is sometimes invisible. Change is messy and chaotic. But if you truly want change, then you and I know that social work is not for those who are faint of heart. Because we are not here to run a 100-meter sprint. We are here to run a marathon for change. Thank you very much. Namaste. Jai Hind. Thank you.